towards the city.
I worry about him getting somebody else's child and destroying another family.
2 years since Delphi, the Hoosier state and entire community was rocked. Abby Williams and Libby German senselessly killed. To this day, no arrest.
Are we frustrated? Absolutely.
Investigators still working hundreds of leads, hoping to find the answers. And there are those 3 words they hope will lead to the suspect. 2 years and no arrest. We've got team coverage all across central Indiana today as we keep the lives of Abby Williams and Libby German in the spotlight.
Call 6 investigates Rafael Sanchez and Paris Lubell have the very latest with police and the girls' families.
The rest of our team talking with other law enforcement agencies and experts about the challenges this investigation poses.
We want to start right now in Delphi with Paris Lubell. He's been talking with lead investigators since the day that those girls went missing. Paris.
Lauren and Meredith, good morning. It was 2 years ago that this community here in Delphi changed forever. And since the investigation began, police have worked tirelessly to try and find the killer. It's an investigation that nobody thought would ever go this long. But each day in Delphi starts off with a prayer.
Let's pray. As the officers say, today is the day.
The same way it did 24 months ago.
Thought we're gonna get the clues that we need and be done with this in 4 or 5 days.
Lead investigator Jerry Holman still oversees the team of detectives, special agents, officers, and deputies assigned to the case.
We realize that this is a total different type of investigation.
That team of investigators continues to pour through tips and investigate leads in Indiana and across the nation. The tip line gets on average about 10 to 12 new tips each day.
In any case that we work, you're going to have obstacles and barriers, and you just have to maneuver around them and bust through the barriers and keep driving forward, and that's what we're doing.
And while it might be frustrating for the public, Holman says even though police haven't given any new details since this sketch was released in July 2017, he says this case isn't anywhere close to being a cold case.
You have to stop having information. You have to have no more investigative leads. You have to have exhausted all efforts, and we're not even close to that yet.
Police say they continue to investigate those new leads that they get every day as well as those old leads. But this case has obviously been very difficult on Abby and Libby's families as well. We continue our team coverage this morning with Call 6 Chief Investigator Rafael Sanchez, who's at State Police Headquarters. Rafael, good morning.
The families of both girls remain hopeful and active in keeping the stories of Abby and Libby front and center. Abby and Libby's families are grateful that people are still with them on this long journey, whether on social media or in the community. They appreciate the ongoing support for the Legacy Park under construction in honor of the girls. 2 years later, Libby's family is focused on finding the killer and encouraging people across the country to pay close attention to their surroundings.
Stay vigilant.
Yeah, just to stay vigilant, not only for our case and our situation, you know. We got a lot of information out there, whether it's a picture, a sketch, a voice. But also be mindful and be attentive to your surroundings, you know, for other people. So I don't want to see anybody go through what we've had to go through and what we're having to live through.
Here at State Police Headquarters, State Police Superintendent Doug Carter says that this case remains a top priority.
We cannot and we will not move on. We are not leaving that community. And I hear the detectives say all the time, if we get to the end, we just start over. And that's exactly what they've done. And they go back and think, I'm going to take a look at that one more time. I'm going to take a look at that one more time.
The State Police Superintendent Doug Carter plans to be in Delphi later today. Now back to you.
Rafael, thank you. As you heard in that story, social media has played a major role in getting this case national attention.
It's also been used to track down leads, which police say can be both good and bad. Let's head back out live to Delphi, where our Paris Lubell and Alyssa Donovan are standing by.
And police are very grateful for those tips coming in. Every single one, they say, could break this case. But some of the tips that come in are from rumors on social media, and that really has a major impact on detectives and their time on the case.
Yes, it does. So the detectives tell us that when this happens, they have to stop what they're doing with valid information and move on to these other investigations. Now, I did speak with several different law enforcement agencies in the area, and there was really a mixed bag of opinions when it comes to if social media is a helpful tool or a hurtful tool when it comes to police investigations. Now, at Crime Stoppers of Central Indiana, social media tips are coming in often, and the tips are described as one angle to a 360-degree view. However, they do have issues with so-called internet investigators, people who see one element of a crime posted and believe they've figured out the whole case. Now, sharing their findings, hyping that up on social media. But there have been situations where the internet has helped. Jim White, a retired law enforcement officer who now teaches at IUPUI, says social media is another useful tool for police.
Now, really, investigators here use a lot of those tips that they see on social media. They know about them ahead of time often, so they really don't need people calling them into the tip line.
That's right. And of course, we still know the best way to get these tips in is to call. That is the best way, especially with this investigation.
And investigators, again, say they get about 10 to 12 different tips every single day, and they are investigating each one of those, as well as looking at some of the old tips they continue to get. We're going to get into more of that in our next half hour here on Good Morning Indiana, and also sit down more with the families and what they're doing to continue keeping their memory alive. For now, we're in Delphi. Paris LaBelle, RTV 6.
Paris, Alyssa, thank you again. This is the suspect police are looking for. We want you to take a good look at both the sketch and this picture.
A picture from the trail that day and this sketch, the only images of the suspect we have. But police also have released his voice. If you recognize his picture or the sketch police released, please call the tip line. That number is on your screen right now, 844-459-5786.
Well, the grief that those families are going through is just unimaginable, and it's grief that they've had to deal with since Abby and Libby didn't return home 2 years ago today.
Our Aaron Lish talked with experts about ways police are working to track your kids if they do ever go missing. Aaron, it's something no parent wants to think about, but they have to.
It's something that you need to prepare for. A majority of missing children cases are runaways, but then you have abductions by family members and then less than 1% by strangers. Now, the Boone County Sheriff's Office, they have new resources out there called the scent kits that they have for missing children. They received 3,000 of these in the past few weeks, and it connects with their new bloodhounds that they have. These bloodhounds have extremely sensitive noses, so they can pick up scents very easily. So as a parent, you take these kits, you wipe down your kid to get that scent and then store it in a container. If needed, the dogs would smell that scent kit of a missing child and then use it to track them down. And speaking of tracking children, we have iPhones, we have Androids, but with iPhones you have Find My Friends, and that can help find those children if they're ever unlocated. And this is another thing, is you can type in Kid Tracker onto your phone. There are so many different apps you can end up using. You can get alerts as to when your kids leave home and get to school, and you can listen into their kids at any moment. So there are a lot of different resources out there that you can use to help to protect your kids if they ever go missing. Coming up in the next half hour, we're going to have a little bit more from the FBI, but for now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Aaron, some important tools there. Thank you so much.